Hello and welcome to the New Japan Pro Wrestling Official English podcast. It's just me, Chris Charlton, in the room at the moment, but only for a moment, as you're going to hear a lot of voices going on ahead over the coming minutes. We're coming off of Wrestle Kingdom 14, of course, the time of year where fans from all over the world congregate on one place to witness the best professional wrestling in the world. And I thought, since so many fans were coming from so many different places, that we could, on this special edition of the Official English podcast, give you a little taste of some of the voices and some of the people that were gathered at the Tokyo Dome for this magical weekend. It's not just me and it's not just the fans, though, as I caught up with Karl Fredericks to get his thoughts on debuting inside the Tokyo Dome, as well as a little cameo right at the end by Rocky Romero, which we recorded just before New Year's Dash. We sort of broke down what happened over the entire weekend. First, though, it all started on January the 4th, where we saw Kota Ibushi take on Kazuchika Okada in that phenomenal 39-minute plus main event. Tetsuya Naito against Jay White. Of course, Hiromu Takahashi and Will Ospreay had an absolute banger. All that among many more moments on that first night. So before 40,008 filed into the Tokyo Dome, I had a chat with just some of the people that were waiting in line to pick up their tickets. Two of my new friends here. Where are you guys from today?
UK, so Bristol.
Bristol as well.
Bristol.
And London.
And London, right. Okay.
Well, London via Vietnam.
Yeah, indeed. I live in South
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So that's more exotic, if we can say.
Indeed.
You're from different countries.
It was actually, if we go back to the first time we came here, it actually starts with the first Okada mega match. I was in Cambodia at the time, and that match absolutely blew me away. And I was watching kind of casually, but that turned me into a super fan. And at that point, I messaged these two guys, and I was like, we're going. We have to be at the Tokyo Dome next year. So we ventured out here for Wrestle Kingdom 12. And then last year, when they announced there were 2 dates, we just had another message, exchanging messages. Yeah. And we were like, we're going again, right? And it was like, yeah, absolutely. So...
Never any question.
Yeah.
You guys are like in for a penny, in for a pound. You're here for the whole weekend.
Yeah. I'm not looking at my bank statement until I get home. It's just... Yeah.
Right.
It's been a fantastic holiday already.
Yeah.
This is just the cherry on top, so, it's fantastic.
Ibushi Okada tonight, Naito and Jay White. Yeah. 2 advances into tomorrow in Double Gold Dash.
I think my heart says Ibushi, my head says Okada, and then I think it's definitely got to be Naito as well.
I think we're looking at Okada versus Naito tomorrow.
Yeah, I've got to say Okada versus Naito tomorrow as well. Yeah.
So, cool. So what's your name? Where are you from today?
Oh, I'm Tyler Williams. I'm from Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, and I'm so happy to be here right now.
Your first time in Japan?
Very much so. For first time for everything.
Wow. Yeah, so are you here both days? Are you doing New Year's Dash as well?
Of course, I gotta be here both days. Now, New Year's Dash, I sadly didn't get tickets for that in enough time.
Yeah.
But I'm definitely here for both Wrestle Kingdom nights. It's gonna be awesome.
Okay,
Liger,
so
Okada, Ibushi.
yeah, we're coming out to night 1, so obviously Double Gold Dash, Jay White, Tetsuya Naito, Kota Ibushi, Kazuchika Okada. Who after tonight, who advances? Who are we seeing in the main event tomorrow?
Man, listen, I am a Kota Ibushi fan through and through, but I sadly get the feeling that Okada is going to walk away with the IWGP Heavyweight Championship. As for the IC, as much as I would love to think that Jay White might beat Tetsuya Naito just to get all the LIJ fans riled up, I think Naito's going to beat him. We're going to get Okada versus Naito at the Dome for the 3rd time.
Awesome. So the opposite question to that: who after this weekend goes 0-2? Who loses both nights?
Oh, that's the hardest one. I had to think about that for a while. I honestly love Kota Ibushi once again, but I think he's taking L this time. Considering that Jay White and Ibushi already wrestled at G1, I think Jay White might have learned from his mistakes, and he might being as meticulous and cerebral as he is, I think he'll actually come back and beat Ibushi.
All right, cool. Well, have an awesome time, man.
Thank you, man. I appreciate it.
Yeah, where did you come from?
We're originally from England, but we live in Amsterdam.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
Awesome.
So, this second Wrestle Kingdom that we've been to, we came to 12, but couldn't do last year because we were moving to Amsterdam.
And are you here for both nights?
Yes. Could not miss Liger's final match. That was one of the biggest draws, and the double championship thing is very interesting, so fingers crossed for Naito, but I would also be very happy with Ibushi as well.
Cool. So you've bought the Liger hat. You're all ready. I assume this is why you're here, right? For Liger's last hurrah?
Yeah, and the double gold, hopefully, by Naito. That's what I'm really hoping for, to be honest.
The number of people down the line.
Yeah.
I mean,
I think
Naito.
there'll be riots, to be honest. You know, we'll lift the roof off this place if
Well, especially if Jay wins the whole thing.
I mean, I like Jay White. You know, he's a great wrestler, but yeah, this has been a long time coming, and we need that double goal for this man. You know, he's the most deserving. So Jay White's got a long career ahead of him, and
That's true.
Naito, there's a collective dream, you know. There's all the way from him being the Stardust Genius to now. If we don't see it, there's
I can sense the anger. If we don't see it,
Tokyo might burn. You know, it's I've come all the way here to see that. It's my first time in Japan.
Wonderful.
Thoroughly enjoying it, loving it. Lovely country, beautiful people. But please, goddamn, give us the double goal for Naito.
January the 4th was memorable enough, and memorable enough for so many of us. 40,008, as I said, in the building, so many more, hundreds of thousands watching all the way around the world. But it was especially memorable for the people that debuted inside the Tokyo Dome. One of those people making his debut was Karl Fredericks in the very first match of the 2020s. I sat down with Karl to get his thoughts about transitioning from the LA dojo to wrestling in Japan, the pressures of wrestling on such a big stage for the very first time, and so much more. So here's your main event of this podcast. It's myself and Karl Fredericks in conversation. Yeah, 40,008. Yeah. Was that crowd, and now we're just coming down off it. You can kind of maybe hear the rehearsals going on for January the 5th right now. But yeah, last night and running out. First of all, that's a much longer run than you're used to.
Yeah, that was a big run. I paced it. I paced myself. No, it was even just immediately when we got in the building. I've never been in an arena this big. We did MSG, but this is obviously twice the size of that. And just looking around, just looking up and seeing the highest, farthest seat, and then looking up when it's full was unreal. And then I'm standing across the ring from Makabe-san, Homo-san, and I'm in with the other young lions with two of my best friends now, my brothers that I've been training with. For a year and a half now, this stuff like this was the goal. So it was all surreal. It was a blast. It seemed like I blinked and it was done.
Right. Did you just sort of snap in once you were stood in ring? It's like, oh, I know where I am. I can do this.
Yeah. So, we run out, and I more than usual took my time to take a look around and kind of take it all in. And then once we're in the ring, it was just business, and we were like any other match. I think I did feel a higher level of intensity from everybody. It was a very everyone was just moving, going, and it was a great time. It was a lot of fun. Obviously, my Tokyo Dome debut, and then we were able to pick up a win again with two of my best friends, my brothers, was pretty fantastic.
Did you get any particular advice from Shibata before you went out? Was there anything? Was it just same as usual, or was there kind of
we kind of individually have our own conversations or types of interactions before matches. A lot of times, because he watches everything very closely, and it's his name on our work as well, so I can see his nerves every now and then, and I'm very I don't think I'm surprised, I'm very confident. And a lot of times I'm in a good mood. I'm like, calm down, it's gonna be good, it's gonna be great, it'll be fine. With me, usually I just get a handshake and he says focus, and that's all I need, and go do it. Don't just focus. Focus. You got it.
I brought this up on the commentary last night. We had those young lions in the first match of the decade. 2020.
Yeah.
and first match of the 2010s had a guy called Kazuchika Okada in it. And so was that in the back of your mind of like, oh, maybe when it comes to Wrestle Kingdom 24, I'm going to be in the main event? Perhaps.
For me, stuff like that is always in the back of my mind. It doesn't matter how big or small the show is, but yeah, things like that. I'm started just for me personally, and then on the bigger scale, the macro. Yeah, I'm like, looking at Okada-san and the decade like that, and then for me, I'm starting my decade. My first match of the year in the Tokyo Dome, and how am I going to start this decade? Because this is my life. So how am I going to set the tone for that? And then looking at the bigger picture, that's my goal. That's of course what I want. That's why I'm here. Even I think about that in my own head, but then having the conversation out loud, it kind of gets me more. I think it's crazier, like to say, I get the goosebumps, all of those emotions that come with it when I talk about it out loud. But stuff I think about all the time, and I don't think it could have gone any better.
You normally, I assume you spent the last few days in the Noge Dojo.
Yes.
Out here. So when you're staying here first of all, just from a day-to-day, the life aspect of being in the LA dojo and the dojo over here, are there differences between just the day-to-day life aspect of it?
Yeah, it feels very different because things have softened up a little bit as opposed to the beginning, but when we came in, it was very much LA Dojo versus Noge Dojo,
right.
And then now it's more, whoever I'm in the ring with. If it's me versus Clark, it's me versus Clark, and I'm gonna beat you. That's what's in my head. That's the only thing that's Now there's less tension, which is nice. But yeah, at first, I guess the biggest difference is we live with Shibata-san, and we have a house in LA, and it's about a 20-minute drive to the dojo.
Okay.
So, we're driving him, and then if he needs errands or anything, we're doing that. But we kind of travel. It feels like a team, and like Clark and I we play college football. We've been athletes our whole life, so it feels very much like that. Because he is our coach, he's our teammate, and when we come here, it's we feel like we're the visiting team. It is. We're on the road. We're in enemy territory, if you will, because and I have all the respect in the world for this, but I know those boys don't want us coming in here and succeeding at their expense. So, and then just the schedule's different. When we work out, things like that. But we're all Clark, Alex, and I we're the first ones up every day. When other people are getting up to do chores, we're 2 hours into a workout, and then we join them for chores. But that's a mixture of jet lag and then our work ethic.
Yeah, sure.
Sometimes it's just us trying to deal with our jet lag, but it feels much more comfortable. Just everything about being in Japan. At first, it was uncomfortable just because it was new. Never felt unwelcomed or anything like that, but now I love being here. I like being in the Noge Dojo. I love being in Japan. So it's every experience is getting more and more fun.
When you're training here, and everybody's over here, is that a situation, does Shibata come in and take the lead, or is who sort of leads those sessions?
Our training here is pretty much us, our strength and conditioning just on our own, and then us together working on our stuff, what we would be doing with Shibata-san. He hasn't stopped by the dojo to train us or train with us. And you've seen before a lot of shows, we're training for a couple hours before the shows. But yeah, at the dojo for us, it's mostly the strength and conditioning. And he's very much kept, or at least instilled in us, you guys are LA Dojo. You guys are my, you're on my team type of thing, and his training. So yeah, we pretty much, all our in-ring stuff is done before the shows with him, and you've seen it, as extensive as it can be. And then every day is stuff that we'd be doing anyways, because in the LA Dojo we'll train for, anywhere from 4 to 5, 6 hours with him, and then we'll all stay and weight train for 2 hours afterwards, just because that's who we are as athletes. So, yeah, for the most part, it's just us staying in shape and mobility, taking care, stretching, just taking care of our bodies, and then coming here and we'll do our training.
Is there, you said that maybe a little bit of frostiness still with like an Romero or a Suji.
Yeah.
But how about like the Noge veterans? Guys like a Liger, guys like a Makabe. Like, do you feel anything from them? Are they welcoming to you? Do they see you as competitors because they're teachers as well?
Absolutely. No, there's been, when I say there's been a noticeable difference, it was, again, nobody has been unwelcoming, but we definitely had to earn their respect, which is what this company is based on. That's what I love about it. But I've been in the ring with Liger-san, Makabe-san, multiple times, and everyone in the company, especially I've noticed, after Tag League, this is my first time really getting to wrestle everybody, and now I've absolutely, I can feel that I'm more accepted. I've earned the respect of a lot of the guys, and especially like Makabe-san, Liger-san. I've teamed with Liger-san a handful of times. I've gone against him, and everyone's they treat us like their own now. And then I know, just from the coaching standpoint, I guess the outlook would be, when it comes to Uemura, Suji, and us, it's up to us to go out there in the ring and handle our business, and whoever, if you want to be better, then go be better and win. And then as coaches, that's all they can do is prepare you and then set you out there and see what happens.
Since you won the Young Lion Cup, what's your do you have a specific roadmap in mind, I think, for the near future? Because it's interesting to see where you've gone and where Narita's gone, where Umino's gone. And, you three were the sort of real big, obviously, won it, and then Umino and Narita were the
absolute standouts.
The seniors of the Japanese end. And Umino's gone to the UK. Yeah. And he's kind of reinventing himself at the moment. Whereas you and Narita almost have like opposite, the opposite numbers in a sense, where Narita's over in LA now.
In LA Dojo, yeah.
And you're over here. But where Umino's kind of a little bit distant, we're seeing you guys all the time.
Yeah.
And that can sometimes, it breeds this familiarity and I think a lot of support from the fans.
Absolutely.
But it also does kind of mean you don't get that sudden refresh.
Yeah.
And is that a thing where you kind of are you thinking, maybe in future I want to go on a separate excursion? Or are you thinking, I want to develop as much and sort of bounce between LA and Tokyo? What are your sort of thoughts 2-3 years in advance?
I guess the true nature of where this answer is going to come from is just the type of athlete that I have been my entire life. My biggest goal for this year, the next my handful of years of my entire career is I want to contribute to this company. I want to contribute in a fashion that's noticeable, and I want to be one of the reasons this company succeeds and continues to be better and better. As far as Shota's overseas, or he's for me we consider overseas, but he's away on excursion. Narita's in LA, and they're finding themselves, reinventing themselves, things of that nature. But at the same time, this is all they've known is New Japan. And the 4 years of experience I had prior to this, I think, did a great deal of me finding myself who I was as a wrestler,
right?
Who I was, all of those things, and I know that.
Yeah,
I'm absolutely comfortable with that, and it's been, I think, even as a young lion, especially the more comfortable I got, it started to show. And, Kevin says it all the time, and I'm glad it's noticeable. I put more flair on things than, or sizzle is the word he uses. But that's just me. That's who I am as a person. And when it comes to this, my biggest goal is to, as fast as I can, prove that I'm not a young lion.
Right.
I'm more than a young lion, and I'm ready to compete. I'm ready to contribute. So, for me, the faster I can be on the main roster, fighting the best wrestlers in the world, the better.
I mean, you spoke about that 4 years of experience that you had before, which, to our audience, most of them weren't familiar with you, until you came into the LA Dojo. But you had that level of experience, and then you made a choice. And from what I understand, you had a few different choices that you could have made, and you chose the LA Dojo. What sparked that of like, I want to wrestle here?
So, I had a choice. I had another offer, and I just, again, this is me. I want to be the best wrestler in the world. One of the best. I want to be great, period. And at the time, I was driving, I was spending 35 hours a weekend by myself if I had to, a lot of times. Bounced between San Francisco, LA, Phoenix, Las Vegas, and working full-time in between. And it was rare for me to be in LA for more than a day or two, but I had 2 bookings in LA, and I was going to be there for 4 days, and it was the very last camp of 2018. And I was friends with Scorpio Sky. I'd wrestled him a few times before in the last year, and I had reached out because I couldn't find the application anymore, and I just knew, again, with, essentially a job in my back pocket, whatever that means, I just knew that it'd be absolutely ignorant of me to not go to a camp, assuming that if they were opening a dojo in LA, assuming that they were looking to hire people as well. But I just knew, that if I were to get in front of New Japan staff, that I could get a job, just being confident in myself. And if anything, if I can't go spend 4 days with Shibata-san and learn something important, even if it's one thing, then I probably don't belong in this business. So I just knew it was something that would be good for my career. I needed to do it, and I reached out to Scorpio, and it was a very small camp. Yeah. And he actually kind of had to go out of his way to no, he's good. You'll like him. Trust me, So he got me in, and then I remember Alex and Clark described me. All I knew is I was Scorpio's guy. Scorpio's got a guy coming in. He's supposed to be okay, because they've been doing the camps for months. They were in the first camps, and so they've been staying in LA and doing since March, I think. And this is now July. Right. And that first day was, at the time, was the hardest day I've ever had in wrestling, but every day after was exactly the same. So at the time, but I just, that weekend, it was the hardest. Doing the 2 shows, by the time I did the second show, I didn't even want to wrestle. I was so sore. I was afraid. I was I don't think I can do a leapfrog right now. I was so sore. And what Shibata put us through those few days, it was, again, at the time, the hardest thing I'd ever been through. And then every day has been worse in good ways. But I loved how hard it was. Yeah. For me, I'd been through other camps and other tryouts, and I loved, because I came in there, and I've only even gotten better, but I came in there knowing what New Japan was going to be like, and I came in there in the absolute best shape that I could have been in. So I excelled. I didn't struggle with anything, but it was very hard, and I loved that. Everything, just walking in the dojo has its own heartbeat. It's got a feeling and a pulse, because everything in there's real. Everything we do is real, and it comes from a very real place. And just the amount of heart and soul that was going into the training, even if it's just the workouts, it just felt different. It felt real, and because of how hard it was, I knew okay, this is really hard, and this is challenging me mentally. Multiple times throughout the day, I'm having to push myself and tell myself, keep going, you can do this. And I knew that this is where I needed to be if I wanted to be great. Because if I wasn't doing that anywhere else, then I'm not learning. I'm not improving, and I could tell that Shibata-san liked me right away. And yeah, so I did the camp, and he asked if I would like to join the dojo, and I immediately said yes. I let him know that I'd have to make some phone calls.
Right.
But for me, there was no question that this was the place to be for me. And even not being familiar from experience, at least, with the Japanese style, and again, I'd never pictured myself in a New Japan ring. You know, I'm an American kid from the middle of nowhere, Nevada. It was all very new to me, and I feel better and more comfortable and confident in that ring than I have anywhere else in my life.
Does to sort of stray from the point, but like, does Shibata prepare you much for the transition of being in Japanese society? Like, it's a cultural shock to be here, but it's always, you know, all of you guys and the fellow dojo guys as well.
Yeah.
You know, the one thing that you just walk in and you know, in the Japanese aisatsu and so like, it's a very you know, that's sort of drilled into
and it's very important. To them. I know Fale Dojo is very, very big on that. Yeah, they come in with like a decent amount of Japanese. Shibata-san, for us, first and foremost, you know, the work ethic, and then just the level of respect. That's just learning the language enough, you know, to get by with those things. Just the respect is the first thing, and for us, there was things that, you know, there was times where we were either doing things that we didn't know weren't okay, or not doing things that we did, you know, and there was a short time of trial and error, but it was very quick for us to pick it up. And of course, knowing what it means and where it comes from, we were eager to, like, please tell us, you know, everything. But yeah, especially for him, I know it was important for him to come in, bring his guys in, and, you know, he's got all his senpai here and all these, you know, so I know he was worried about that as well. And as far as I know, we've done well. You know, he prepared us. Everybody's been welcoming to us and taking to us very well, has complimented him on what he's done with us. But yeah, I'm glad we got the learning curve out of the way in LA long before he came here. But yeah, he made sure we were ready for everything inside the ring, outside the ring, and he's done what he's done with us is honestly kind of incredible. I go home and my parents, my family, my friends notice just in my demeanor a major change in, you know, in good ways. My parents think that I almost like as if I went away to the military or something, you know.
Right.
But they just like they say I'm more poised. I'm more. I'm just say calm and confident almost. You know. But that definitely comes from going the bottom up here and doing the way we do things here, and it's to humble ourselves and do what we do here is the best thing that could have ever happened to me outside of the ring as well.
So you're going to be a part of New Beginning USA, January 24th to February the 1st. Yes. This is all going off paper in front of me. But
it's a 9-day tour. I know that.
We're doing 5 dates, I believe, right? Nashville, North
Raleigh,
Carolina,
Raleigh area,
Miami, Tampa, and Atlanta. How's that? I remembered the. So, I mean, it never stops. Like this business never stops, and we're turning around from today, second day of Wrestle Kingdom, tomorrow New Year's Dash, and then Fantastica Mania on the Japanese side starts Friday.
Then so they start going there, and then people, you know, the roster is going to be split, and people are going to be going all over the place. And it's exciting, and for me, I think another big goal of mine is two things, and they go hand in hand, but they almost kind of conflict. But I want to, you know, we're doing this USA stuff, and I want obviously I want to be a staple. I want to, just like I said, I want to contribute here. I want to contribute and be a part of why this succeeds. That's a huge goal of mine. And then at the same time, I want to be here. I want to be on every tour. Put me on everything. Because I want to be here, and I don't, in any way, shape, or form, want to be seen as a New Japan USA guy.
Right.
I want, I remember we did the New Beginning tour last year, and each show, Shibata-san did the intro. He apologized for the visa issues, but the first night in LA, I was in the ring with him, then Alex the next day, and Clark the third day, and he said, I'm sorry the roster's not here, but I'm New Japan. LA Dojo's New Japan. Karl Fredericks is New Japan. And that's very important to me as well. Just much, getting in front of the Japanese fans as much as possible. But I want to be on everything. I want people to see me. I want wrestling fans to see me and just see the lion mark. The same way you see Okada-san, Bushi-san, anybody, you see them and you see the line. They're hand in hand. They're the same thing. They're not just professional wrestlers. They're New Japan. And that's what I want. So I'm in a pretty cool position to where, especially as I'm climbing the ladder in the business period, on these tours for the first time, we're doing new things in the company's history. And it's very exciting. And just in America alone, I'm going to cities I've never been in.
Right.
Like I said, I'm from a village in the middle of the desert. So every time we go to the East Coast, I'm ecstatic, and it's exciting. And I know just getting feedback from the fans and things like that, saying, asking if I'm on the shows or things like that. I feel like I'm doing things right. And yeah, I'm looking forward to it. I think they're going to be very pleased with what we do over there, knowing that we're bringing, we're not shortchanging any of the shows. And I hope that they'll have an appreciation for, like you said, how hard that everybody's going to be working with this extra stuff, and how nonstop it's going to be, and guys are going to be, finishing the U.S. tour and then flying straight back to Japan for the big show at the end of the tour that's going on here. And it's going to be hectic, but
it's going to be crazy.
Yeah.
I think when we get towards the end of the year. And all of that conversation took place just minutes before Wrestle Kingdom 14 Night 2 took place. If you're particularly keen of hearing, you'll have heard some of the audio of the sound checks and the rehearsals going on in the background of that very hustly bustly Tokyo Dome. So night 2 of Wrestle Kingdom 14, it involved Jushin Thunder Liger's last match, of course, a memorable bout between Sanada and Zack Sabre Jr., that phenomenal shock appearance of Minoru Suzuki to lay out Jon Moxley after he'd wrestled two title matches, back to back. And of course, at the end of it all, Tetsuya Naito winning and becoming the first ever IWGP Heavyweight and Intercontinental Champion. Before everybody filed into the building, I took the time to speak to just a couple of the fans and gauge their reactions to the upcoming night.
I'm out here with, visuals don't do it justice. You have to look at the pictures on the website, but the world's biggest Taguchi Japan fan. So can I get your names and where you're from?
Mike Feger. I'm from Philadelphia, Pennsylvania.
Brian Seaman. I'm from New Jersey.
Right. So where did because you've become kind of famous, Mike, well, loosely famous for your fandom of Yusuke Taguchi. If you watch like Taguchi 6.9, then you'll know that Taguchi, and you become. Have you met the man? Are you friends with him now?
Yes, I mean, when we see each other, I know last year at the Lions Mark show, after his match, he saw me at ringside and came up and just gave me a hug. I was just stunned. I just couldn't believe it. It just blows my mind. I'm so fortunate for this New Japan and Taguchi just to be this. I'm still stunned.
Where did this come from?
What it was, the first Long Beach show.
Yeah.
I came. I was all had the jacket, the towel, the glasses, and he's always been one of my favorite wrestlers, probably my favorite wrestler, because I was always a fan of Apollo 55.
Right.
Which is why I will never wear a Bullet Club shirt in my life, because I'm still salty that they had to die so Bullet Club could live.
And do you share the same?
I'm a big Lij guy. Lij guy. You can't see it right now, but I was cosplaying Naito at the Dome last night.
Oh wow!
I met Yuta, who's pretty famous for cosplaying Naito, and another friend of mine. They introduced me to a lot of other cosplayers, and it was a great time.
Tsuguchi was part of that Liger farewell match last night.
Yes.
Almost kind of the workhorse of that match, you might say.
Yeah.
And now in the never openweight 6-man tag team gauntlet, the most dominant team of all time.
Yes, the best right now, the greatest never 6-man tag teams in history. I mean, this is going to be their 5th title defense, and they're going to be successful. Doesn't matter who throws up against them, they're going to put them down and take the belts home.
I'm calling Shingo, Bushi, and Evil on that one.
A very tough team to beat. You would
I have my Evil shirt on under this dress shirt. I'm just waiting to get into the
just
dome.
bust it open.
It's a little cold right now, but
yeah,
I'll have my Naito hat, I'll have my Evil shirt, and my Bushi arm warmers there. Yeah.
Where did you guys come from this weekend?
New York City.
Yeah, New York.
Wow. Okay. Were you at MSG last year?
Yeah, I was G1 Supercard. I was there when Kota Ibushi won the Intercontinental belt and when Okada won back the world title. Absolutely.
Okay. Not a positive result for Ibushi.
Not a positive result at all. My golden star was broken, personally. I was going for Ibushi. I wanted the fairy tale to come true already. Ibushi to win tonight and Ibushi to beat Naito tonight. But that's going to happen. But we're going to get the rematch from Wrestle Kingdom 12, I believe.
Yes.
So maybe tonight will be Naito's justice for once.
You got that Ibushi and Jay White rematch from the G1 as well now.
Yeah.
Do you think Ibushi, now having lost yesterday, is he going to be kind of crushed by that? Is he going to go 0-2, or where does that fit in the picture?
What do you think, baby?
Oh, I'm just happy to be along for the ride, but I'm hoping obviously for Ibushi.
We're an Ibushi family, so I like Jay White too. Don't get me wrong. I'm Bullet Club. I got the Bullet Club kicks on, Bullet Club hat, Bullet Club underwear, everything.
But we're just following our hearts with this.
I want Ibushi.
Our hearts go out for
but
Ibushi.
So
we're England, Wiltshire. Southwest of England, yeah.
Right, and you've all come out together as a family. This is your family holiday? Yes. Were you sort of dragged in? Were mum and dad dragged into the wrestling, or?
No, we've been. I'm old school anyway. Saturday afternoons.
Oh, awesome!
On ITV, World of Sport.
So everything, I would imagine, for you, your highlight will be Zack Sabre Jr. and Sonata.
Yes, very much so.
He's very, very big fan of Suzuki Gun.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think certainly Suzuki Gun, they all kind of work that European classical, the Karl Gotch, the catch style of wrestling. And you've got that interesting mix of catch with Zack.
Yes.
Who is, if you know your UK indies, the NWA Hamlock and all of that. Against Sonata, who's got that sort of Mexican flavor,
it's a brilliant mix. Sonata's very smooth, and so him and Zack always have good matches. So I am a bit worried about LIJ is my favourite, and I'm a bit worried it could all go south with Naito tonight. Definitely.
Naito, and Mum is.
I'm fairly neutral.
Yeah.
I want him to be happy, so I go for Naito.
Just as long as sportsmanship and let everybody have a fair fight.
Absolutely. Sportsmanship is the thing I like.
She's not a fan of the cheaters.
I don't like cheaters.
Sure. A lot of those LIJ fans didn't have to riot in the end, but it got pretty close because, of course, Naito did make history, did become the first double champion, but then out of nowhere, here comes that damn Kenta and leveled Tetsuya Naito, which instantly shot him to the front of the queue when it came to contenderships for Naito's double championships and just contenderships in terms of people that Naito wanted to be up on. And that led us into New Year's Dash, where just before New Year Dash, I sat down with Rocky Romero to get his thoughts on the weekend.
We're in a bit of a bustly backstage room at Ota now before New Year's Dash. And probably if you've listened towards the length of this podcast, you've heard me talk to a lot of people that wanted Tetsuya Naito to win. Rocky Romero is sitting in front of me, didn't want Tetsuya Naito to win.
No, I mean, yeah, I would have liked, of course. I mean, Okada has been the consistent staple and face of New Japan Pro Wrestling. I think he would have been. I mean, and he's my friend, so I want him to be the guy to continue that in his arena. At this moment. I mean, it's this generation. He's the guy, right? So I wanted to see him. And what we talked about on air last night was the most important match in New Japan history.
For sure.
Without a shadow of a doubt.
Finally wins. You finally think he gets that moment, and then that SOB Kenta.
Yeah, no, I got even, obviously, I wanted Okada to win, but I was happy as a wrestler, to understand that, obviously, what Tetsuya Naito has been through to get this moment.
Right.
To have it ruined.
I think that's what a lot of people were kind of saying on the internet afterwards. So, well, he lost the Never Championship and now he's at the front of the line, but he put himself at the front of the line.
Right.
Because he knew that nobody else
was gonna
do that.
Right.
Like, even his worst enemy wasn't going to begrudge him that moment.
Even Jay White.
Yeah, right. Was like, well, maybe he did it through Kenta, no, but yeah.
Wow. Well, I think, it just kind of shows what kind of person Kenta has been. And obviously, for him, coming out of his situation in the U.S., he's not, he's not taking any prisoners, not taking any chances. He's gonna make Kenta, all that time that he lost, injuries and all that, like he saw an opportunity that nobody else was probably going to take, so he went and put himself, like you said, right in the front of the line.
You went around at the start of the show last night because you were with your boys, and congratulations, by the way.
Thank
you. So you went. It was tough. Like his last match was. It was a little bit, tear to a glass eye moment, and we're going to get his retirement ceremony coming up in just a bit here.
Right.
But have you spoken to Liger over the weekend?
I just thanked him. I think I thanked him both days, did a big deep bow and just told him, Liger-san, thank you for everything, for the wrestling, he paved the way for all of us, all our juniors, and really put junior heavyweight wrestling on the map worldwide. He's like the most notable face, or math, however you want to say it, that, of anybody in New Japan Pro Wrestling in any era. He's the guy that's the most known worldwide. He truly is a world legend, So I just said thank you. He's not the guy who's probably going to get too emotional about it, like backstage or anyone. So he just smiled and smiled.
He was sort of saying backstage last night, he was, in his comments was, you keep trying to make me cry, I'm not going to do it. The procession, I know, going a guy who created the character was there yesterday.
Cool.
So, I'm sure, I have no idea what's going to happen tonight.
I have a feeling that we're all going to be crying.
Yes.
He will be.
Yeah, I don't know. I think it's the last desperation attempt, can we break the Liger before?
Yeah. But like you even said yesterday, it's like, here's a guy who wears a mask, but yet you always know about his emotions, like his emotions come through a full bodysuit and a mask, which is amazing, if you really think about it. And I'm curious to see what that body language is going to be, because you're going to know how emotional this moment is for you, for sure.
And so that was Wrestle Kingdom.
Yeah.
And now it's already New Year's Dash, and then New Beginning.
Right, New Beginning right around the corner, and we've got 2 tours going on, which is cool.
At the same time.
Same time,
That's unreal.
Obviously the Japan tour going to Sapporo for 2 nights, and then culminating in Osaka, at Osaka Joe.
Osaka Joe, bigger than it ever has been. Yeah.
That's really, really big.
The prospect in the States this year of Minoru Suzuki being potentially WGB US champion.
That was a moment. Like that was one of my favorite moments of just the whole weekend.
Yeah, absolutely.
Was just when you thought you were safe.
Because Minoru Suzuki's name's not Hunt. Oh, okay. Sure. All right, so we're about to get to work.
I did some karaoke last night. Probably shouldn't have.
Okay.
But then
my
voice is gonna be a little tired. But it's just been what an incredible weekend. I feel like.
Oh yeah.
And the events themselves. I mean, some of maybe my favorite Wrestle Kingdom. And it's hard to say that.
Especially over 2 days, you kind of think, when you sort of listen to a double album, you kind of think, oh, this would be great as one really good album, right? But it was, both nights stood up as just, the whole experience altogether.
And very different, too, like the first night and the second night. I felt like the second night had more of an emotional kind of heavy kind of atmosphere to it, Obviously, so much more being on the line, and especially like, Tetsuya Naito's moment, and then obviously getting ruined. But then the first night was just like bam, bam, bam. The Ospreay versus Hiromu was fantastic. Obviously, Bushi versus Okada was awesome, so, and just waiting to see what's going to happen the next day. And 40,000 plus fans for
you
the first
think
night.
across the 3 nights, 75,000 people.
It's crazy.
Altogether.
It's so crazy. And we're not even including tonight.
Yeah, right. I mean, 2 nights in the Dome was, 70,000 plus.
Right.
4,000 or 5,000 tonight.
Right.
It's, and this is the start of the year.
Right.
So who knows what's going to happen.
Right, 2020. I mean, I want to thank everybody worldwide who's really supported the product, all over the world. I've been getting, so many text messages from just saying like, holy crap, you guys know how to throw an event, and a lot of great people talking about the English commentary team and how
that's
how,
great.
How
That means
we did. So that
means a lot.
It does.
Yeah,
doesn't it?
It does.
So it's just kind of cool. I know, and it should be difficult, right? We're doing a 4-man booth.
Right.
It should be very difficult, but somehow I don't know. I feel like we're all kind of in tune together, and it's really working. And I don't know. I'm over the moon with like this weekend. This was a huge step in the right direction for the company in general.
Yeah.
King of sports, man.
King of sports, man. Yeah, onward and upward. And that was Wrestle Kingdom weekend. We now turn our attentions to Fantastica Mania in Japan, and then after Fantastica Mania, New Beginning in America, in the US, and in Japan, starting on January the 24th in Tampa, moving through Nashville, Durham, Miami, and Atlanta, with some fantastic matches locked into those American cards, from singles matches that you would never think that you would ordinarily see. My goodness, Lance Archer versus Jeff Cobb, yes please. Lance Archer versus Ran Narita, well, you might be planning for Narita's funeral, but again, I would love to see it, having seen and heard those phenomenal crowd reactions back at Boston when they went 1-on-1. Check that out on New Japan World, that's a little hidden gem. There's so many matches and such great action. Tanahashi and Ibushi tagging again, that's a rare opportunity. So much that makes it worth your while to go out and check out those events. Go and find ticket information on njpw1972.com. And then of course, New Beginning in Sapporo, 2 more nights in Hokai KTL, a phenomenally hot weekend there despite the cold weather out in Sapporo, and then New Beginning in Osaka as well, all headlined by that Kenta versus Naito battle, and of course John Moxley versus Minoru Suzuki. My goodness. We'll be back, I'm sure, very soon to reflect on those events and talk more about what's coming up on the horizon. And there's lots of big things coming up on the horizon for New Japan in 2020. In the meantime, you can find out about all that information on njpw1972.com and follow things on social media, of course, at NJPW Global on Twitter and at NJPW of America as well. Let's not forget our American section. If you're looking for that specific US specific information, then that is the place to go to. And there'll be much more information to come in the coming weeks and months as we're getting set to have an incredibly exciting 2020. So until next time, take care. Gokigenyo. Sayonara.